If you're trying to sell a home or a homestead, here's how we did it. If you're trying to upgrade to a bigger one or maybe downgrade to a smaller, more manageable homestead, that's good too. Here's what we did. We were able to sell our homestead, which was not a beautiful equestrian farm, from the date of listing, we had our offer in 10 days. Okay, so the first thing we had to do before we could get it on the market, before we even wanted to show it or anything, we had to clean the place. It was a mess.
Yes, because you know how homesteads get. You save things that you might need someday.
I have been called a homesteader in the past, and I had all kinds of stuff.
We had stuff from the original owner of the house that we said maybe we'll use that someday, don't get rid of it.
Random pieces of like wooden railing and just like all kinds of...
A ton of stuff.
Railroad ties.
Fortunately, we had just redone the basement.
That's true.
Cleaned it out and made it look nice.
That's true. And we had, a year previous, had that big tag sale and gotten rid of a lot of things. But we still needed to get rid of... We didn't want big junk piles. We didn't want the barns full of trash. So we took a lot of time and just cleared out the old...
burn pile.
Well, we did a lot of Craigslist and Goodwill, and then whatever we didn't need.
Anything friends needed or wanted.
We did do a dump run, which we were fortunate. My dad's got a dump trailer. We loaded that thing up full of garbage and were able to bring it to the dump.
Which, the reason we do that instead of renting a dumpster is the price difference is
huge.
Insane. Yeah. To do that, it was an entire trailer. I don't know how long it is, but it was packed full. And it costs $100 to dump it.
Versus like renting
if you get a
dumpster
dumpster
for
in,
$800.
It's the price difference is crazy.
And we had as much time as we needed. So we got rid of all that stuff. Once we cleared out...
Like metal bunk beds we had
all
kept
kinds, just
to maybe use
ridiculous.
as a chicken tractor one day.
A bunch of pallets, rest in peace pallets. After that, then it was time to fix things. Things that... When we moved in the house, we were like, oh, we're going to have to do that we had not done. Because we didn't want people to walk in and see something wrong.
Glaring is the way I would describe it. You don't want people to see glaring issues.
Yeah.
Even things that are innocent, that wouldn't be a really big deal to fix.
Crack in the drywall.
That the kids made, right? They kicked it, and there was a small crack in the drywall. But you don't want people looking at that and thinking like, oh, there's some structural instability here.
Maybe it's termites.
Yeah. So I just fixed it. I patched it. We painted the room. We fixed it. We painted everything very neutral. Fixed any glaring issues.
And that doesn't mean we did a remodel. There was nothing, no money spent on remodeling. Just things that looked unfinished or broke.
Right. Remodeling was something we did when we moved in.
Yeah, we
ripped out some shag carpeting and put in nice tile.
A lot of shag carpeting.
It was nice. And all we needed to do was kind of finish some projects that some people hadn't finished in a long time.
Anyways, the next thing that we decided we were going to have to do once we actually had done all that cleaning and fixing was stage the place for the people who would eventually be coming to look at this place.
Yeah, and I suppose that's partially why we painted too, because you want to give people a blank slate to start off, an easy blank slate that they can put their imagine themselves in.
Yeah.
Right? They want to imagine themselves in this space.
So we didn't keep up our family photos and the little babies like, why are you taking my home? We kind of made the place look like a place anyone could insert themselves in. Changed some of the bedding. Yes. Not a lot. We didn't go crazy spending a bunch of money.
No, it was already things we had.
But like made the sheets white.
Neutral, bright. Took out more bunk beds.
And once we went that far and the place was clean and slimmed down, for our photos, we actually, to put on because the next thing we had to do was really market this place, we staged the house differently than how we lived in it. We moved certain rooms, like we made beds move and moved bunk beds, took down bunk beds.
Yeah, we took down bunk beds, and that made the small rooms. This house was built in the 50s, the original part, so the rooms were small. But taking all the clutter out, taking the bunk beds out made them look so much bigger and brighter as well.
Yeah.
We said before, the house is built into a mountain, so it can be dark and it can be cold. And those are two things that you never want anybody to say when they're walking in to see your house.
Like,
oh,
wow,
it's so musty and cold and
You know, I'm a
damp and
troglodyte.
dark.
I really like caves.
So
this
we
is
wanted
great.
bright, light, and warm.
10 points for getting to use the word troglophile, though.
Oh, you're telling yourself
I'm
that.
giving myself points.
Good job, babe.
Yeah. So we
Staged it.
And then the next step, once you've got the cleaning, the fixing, and the staging done, just because, which we'll get to in a minute, you have a realtor or whoever you have helping you, you're still responsible. Anytime you want to sell anything, you have to market it.
Yes.
So we took beautiful pictures. We made a little brochure with the story, the history, right down to like suggesting the places that they're going to go and eat, get breakfast or where to get pizza. The photos we took with a wide angle lens.
We lit the rooms.
Yes, in our photos. Because when you take a photo, the photograph can't capture what your eye captures. No.
So you need to add extra light.
But
a flash on the camera is going to look awful.
Awful, no. So we used some of we have the lights set up right now, our professional lights, lit the rooms, wide angle lens. The pictures looked beautiful. We had this brochure with the story. We marketed this place to sweep people off their feet.
Yeah, and we wanted to put the story in there because I don't know about you, but if I see somebody selling their house, I think, why? What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
So we wanted to explain we're relocating to another state.
Yeah.
If we weren't, we would stay here forever. It's a wonderful place to raise a family, play it all up.
Yeah, and we weren't, and that's the other thing. None of these are like tricks to like fooling people into a bad place. We loved that farm. We loved that location. So adding light to your photos is just so they can see it like you see it. Mm-hmm. And the wide angle lens is just to be able to capture as much of the beautiful room as you can capture. So these are all ways that if you are trying to sell a home or a homestead, you can do this work yourself.
Yes, and I think it's so important because some realtors can be old-fashioned, don't see the value in photos.
Oh, man.
But where do people go right away if they're looking for a house?
So true.
There's Zillow, right? They see those photos, and that's what captures them. So it kind of leads us into our next point.
Speaking of old-fashioned realtors and good realtors and bad realtors, we really suggest forget the realtor, sell it yourself.
Forget it, sell yourself. No.
What you just watched was an excerpt from the Homesteady podcast. This episode is all about selling and moving from our homestead in Connecticut to the new homestead where we live in Pennsylvania. You can listen to this entire podcast and all our other podcasts by clicking on this button right here. They're available for free to download at iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get podcasts.